William "Smokey" Robinson Jr. is an American R&B and soul singer, composer, record producer, and former record executive. In addition to being the primary songwriter and producer for the groundbreaking Motown singing group The Miracles, he founded the group and served as its frontman. From the group's founding in 1955, when they were known as the Five Chimes, until his retirement from the group in 1972 to concentrate on his position as vice president of Motown Records, he served as its leader. The next year, Robinson made a solo comeback to the music business. In 1999, he departed Motown. For his lifelong contributions to popular music, Robinson received the 2016 Library of Congress Gershwin Prize and was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987. He was inducted into the Hollywood Walk of Fame twice, first in 1983 as a solo artist and once in 2009 as a member of The Miracles. He received his star on the Black Music and Entertainment Walk of Fame inductee status in 2022. Early life and early career. William Robinson Jr. was born to an African-American father and a mother of African-American and French descent in a poor family in the North End area of Detroit, Michigan. Robinson's ancestry is also part Nigerian, Scandinavian, Portuguese, and Cherokee. His uncle Claude gave him the nickname Smokey Joe when he was a child. In 2012, Robinson explained, "My Uncle Claude was my favorite uncle. He was also my godfather. He and I were really, really close. He used to take me to see cowboy movies all the time when I was a little boy because I loved cowboy movies. He got a cowboy name for me, which was Smokey Joe. So, from the time I was 3 years old, if people asked me what my name was, I didn't tell them my name was William, I told them my name was Smokey Joe. That's what everyone called me until I was about 12, and then I dropped the Joe part. I've heard that story about him giving it to me because I'm a light-skinned black man, but that's not true." He attended Northern High School, where he was above average academically and a determined athlete. However, his main interest was music, and he formed a doo-wop group named the Five Chimes. He and Aretha Franklin lived several houses from each other on Belmont. He said he'd known Franklin since she was about 5, overhearing her play the piano when he had come to play with her older brother Cecil after her family first moved to Detroit. Robinson's interest in music started during childhood after he heard the groups Nolan Strong and the Diablos and Billy Ward and his Dominoes on the radio. He has cited Barrett Strong, a Detroit native, as a strong vocal influence. In 1955, he formed the first lineup of the Five Chimes with childhood friend Ronald White and classmate Pete Moore. 2 years later, they were renamed the Matadors and included Bobby Rogers. Another member, Emerson, Sonny, Rogers, Bobby Rogers' cousin, was replaced by his sister, Claudette Rogers, who would marry Smokey Robinson in 1959. The group's guitarist, Marv Tarplin, joined them sometime in 1958. The Matadors began touring Detroit venues around this time. Eventually they changed their name to The Miracles. The Miracles and Motown. In August 1957, Smokey Robinson and The Miracles met Berry Gordy, who was impressed by Robinson's songwriting and vocals. With Gordy's help, the group released their first single, Got a Job, beginning a long collaboration. Robinson briefly attended college in 1959 but dropped out to pursue music. Gordy later formed Tamla Records, which became Motown, with The Miracles among its first signees. The group found major success, recording their first hit, Shop Around, in 1960. From 1960 to 1970, Robinson led The Miracles to 26 top 40 hits, including hits like You've Really Got a Hold on Me, I Second That Emotion, and their number one hit, The Tears of a Clown. In 1965, the group changed their name to Smokey Robinson and The Miracles. Robinson also wrote and produced hits for other Motown artists, including Mary Wells, The Temptations, and Marvin Gaye. By the mid-1960s, Robinson had become a Motown vice president. Despite plans to retire in 1969, he stayed with The Miracles until 1972, due to the success of Tears of a Clown. His final performance with the group was in July 1972. After a year of retirement, Smokey Robinson returned in 1973 with his album Smokey, which included the hit ballad, Baby Come Close. His next album, Pure Smokey, 1974, did not achieve commercial success, as he struggled to compete with other Motown stars. However, Robinson rebounded with A Quiet Storm in 1975, featuring the hit, Baby That's Bakacha. This album also inspired the radio format, Quiet Storm. Robinson faced challenges balancing his solo career with his duties as Motown's vice president, leading to underpromoted albums. A breakthrough came in 1979 when he wrote the hit, Cruisin', his first solo top 10 pop single. He followed up with the successful ballad, Being With You, 1981, which topped the UK charts and reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. His later albums, such as Yes It's You Lady and Touch the Sky, continued to perform moderately well. Robinson made a major comeback in 1987 with the album One Heartbeat, which featured the hits Just to See Her and One Heartbeat. Just to See Her earned him his first Grammy Award. Robinson was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1988, though controversy arose as the Miracles were not initially included. After leaving his position as Motown's vice president in 1988, Robinson released several albums, but his career slowed during the 1990s. He returned to Motown in 1999 with the album Intimate. In the 2000s, Robinson explored gospel music and released several albums, including Time Flies When You're Having Fun in 2009 and Smokey and Friends in 2014, which charted well. In 2023, Robinson announced his first album in almost a decade, Gasms, featuring new music, with the first single, If We Don't Have Each Other, released in January. Personal life. In 1959, Robinson tied the knot with Claudette Rogers, a fellow Miracles member. The couple had 2 children, Tamla Robinson, born 1971, named after the initial Tamla label that Gordy set up that would later become Motown, and Barry Robinson, born 1968, named after Motown's first label founder Berry Gordy. Robinson claims that while he was married to Claudette, he had extramarital affairs with other women, including Diana Ross, with whom he had an affair for about a year. Robinson said that Ross terminated it because she felt uneasy about being friends with Claudette, who Robinson acknowledged he was still in love with. A Ross spokesman refrained from commenting on Robinson's assertion. According to Robinson, loving more than one person at once is a natural tendency. During his marriage to Claudette, Robinson also had a son called Trey, born 1984, with a different woman. Robinson first applied for legal separation and then for divorce, which was finalized in 1986, after he acknowledged to having fathered a child with a woman other than his wife. The song, The Agony and the Ecstasy, which was subsequently featured on A Quiet Storm, was inspired by Robinson's extramarital affair, which he had during the breakup from the Robinsons in 1974. In May 2002, Robinson wed Frances Gladney. They live in Pittsburgh and operate a winery out of their house. Since 1972, Robinson has not consumed any red meat. He engages in trance-based meditation. Robinson thinks his golden green eyes came from his great-grandmother, a French woman. Robinson will take over as owner and presenter of the SiriusXM channel Soul Town, which plays R&B and soul music from the 1950s through the early 1980s, starting in November 2023. Released under the name Smokey's Soul Town, Robinson makes sporadic appearances on the channel where he talks about meeting other musicians, remembering his fondest Motown events, and selecting tunes from that era. Awards and accolades. Smokey received a unique star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame on February 22, 1983. Robinson was admitted to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1987, 4 years later. In 1988, Robinson's song, Just to See Her, from the One Heartbeat album won the Best Male R&B Vocal Performance Grammy Award. Robinson's first Grammy was this one. He was admitted to the Songwriters Hall of Fame a year later, in 1989. Robinson received a medal at the National Medal of Arts in 1993. He was the recipient of the Soul Train Music Awards Heritage Award 2 years prior. In 2005, Robinson was elected into the Michigan Rock and Roll Legends Hall of Fame. Robinson received the degree of Doctor of Music, honoris causa, from Howard University during its 138th commencement convocation in May 2006. Together with Steven Spielberg, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Dolly Parton, and Zubin Mehta, Robinson was one of the 5 Kennedy Center honors in December 2006. On March 20, 2009, the Miracles were officially recognized as a group with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Along with Bobby Rogers, Pete Moore, Claudette Rogers, Bobby's cousin, and Gloria White, who was accepting on behalf of her late husband, the late Ronnie White, whose daughter Pamela and granddaughter Maya were also present. Smokey was also present. Billy Griffin, the lead vocalist of the Miracles in the 1970s, who took Smokey's position, was also given honors. Contrary to the desires of his fellow Miracles and the group supporters, who believed that he should have also been present to share the honor, founding Miracle Marv Tarplin was controversially not acknowledged. Tarplin did eventually win a star. In 2012, he was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame alongside Bobby Rogers, Pete Moore, Ronnie White, and Claudette Robinson, the remaining members of the original Miracles. This occurred 25 years after Robinson's contentious entrance on her own in 1987. In 2011, he also received the Society of Singers Lifetime Achievement Award. In 2009, Robinson earned an honorary doctorate degree together with Linda Ronstadt and made a commencement address at Berklee College of Music's graduating event. He received a BET Lifetime Achievement Award in 2015. In addition to being inducted into the National Rhythm and Blues Hall of Fame in his birthplace of Detroit on August 21, 2016, Robinson was awarded the Gershwin Prize for Popular Song by the Library of Congress in 2016. Jimmy Page and Peter Gabriel, members of the awards council, gave him the American Academy of Achievement's Golden Plate Award in 2019. Robinson came in at number 23 in Rolling Stone's list of the 200 greatest singers of all time in 2023. We thank you for your time and attention, and that is all the information we currently have about Smokey Robinson. I hope this Smokey Robinson information was helpful. Click the bell icon and subscribe to our feed to receive more content similar to this one so you don't miss anything.